Hi guys and girls, another little video here on some fraction calculations. It's a lot of it's going to involve mixed numbers, but it should be reasonably straightforward. So, first one, work out 1 3/4 plus 3 1/2. Now, I personally go for put them all as top-heavy fractions, add them together, then take them out of mixed numbers. It's far easier than doing the whole numbers and then doing the fractions and having to do two processes. So, the first one is going to be, well, 4 times 1 is 4, add the 3 is 7, so 7/4. And then that makes 6 and another 7, but it's 7/2 this time. You've got to have a common denominator. So I'm going to turn this one into a 4, so leave the first one. If we're going to double that to make a 4, I've got to double the top. So now I get 21 over 4. So then how many 4s go into 21? Well, that's 5 with 1 left over. So the answer is 5 1/4. For multiplying, put a 1 under anything that's not a fraction. Multiply the tops together, so you're going to do 3 times 28. And multiply the bottoms together. So that is going to be 90 take 6 is 84 over 7. Now we are doing it in pounds. So we should be, actually we can divide that, can't we? 84 divided by 7 is 12. There we go, 12 pounds. Nearly overcomplicated that though. Okay, next one. Again, this one specifies that it's got to be in a mixed number form. So that is 15. Add an extra 4 is 19 over 5. Common denominator in this one is going to be 35. 19 times 7 is 133. And 5 times 3 is 15. So if I add my numerators together, I get 148. Oh, where's it gone? 148 over 35. Now, there's no reason why this couldn't come up on a non-calculator paper. So I need to know how many 35s will fit into 148. So it would go 35, 70, 105, 140. So I can fit 4 and I'll have 3 left over. So 4 and 3/35. Number 3. So we've got 3 identical shapes. We know up to that point there it's 3/5 of a shape. We know that point there is 7/8 of a shape, and we've got to work out the bit between. So if I start with a whole one, I know that this bit down here has got to be 2/5. I know that this bit up here has got to be 1/8. Oh, come on, there we go. So I need to do 1 take away 1/8 plus 2/5. So 1/8 plus 2/5, common denominator is going to be 40. 5 times 1 is 5, 8 times 2 is 16, so that is 21 over 40. So I need to do 1 minus 21 over 40. 21 off of 40 is 19. Oops, there we go. So 19 over 40 must be my answer. Right, so here we've got the recurring decimal 0.15 recurring, so please note, I don't know why that's in a very weird place. Never mind, 0.15 recurring is 0.1 and then repeating 5s, not 0.151515. So if you call the decimal 0.15 recurring, you've got to get two things. You've got to get the first recursion behind the decimal and the first recursion in front of the decimal, in two different things. So by in front of the decimal, I mean we need to move it to there. So I'm going to multiply it by 10. And then I also need to get it there. So I'm going to multiply by 100. And the reason for doing that is when I do these subtracted from each other, the 0.5 recurrings are going to cancel each other out. So I'm going to do 100D take away 10D. So that's 15.5 recurring take away 1.5 recurring. That will give me 99D. No, it won't. Don't be silly. Give me 90D is 14. So D must have been 14 over 90. Now notice it says simplest form here, so that's going to be, you could do 7 over 45. So my answer to this one is 7 over 45. Right, next one. So again, take them out of mixed numbers. So that's 9, that's another one, that's 10. That's 22 over 5. Multiply the tops together, multiply the bottoms together, and again it says simplest form, so don't lose silly marks. They're both in the 5 times table, so that's 44 over 3. And it wants a mixed number, so the closest I can get is 42, which is 14 times 3, and I'll have 2/3 left over. Right, nothing special here. You make your common denominator, so in this case it's going to be 24. Cross multiply, add the numerators, and voila, done. Except I can't read my own writing. 24. Again, let's put that in a really weird place, but let's have a go. So we want the decimal to be 0.750. So the 5 zeros are repeating. If I multiply it by 10, I get 7.50 recurring. And if I multiply it by, I need to get the full recursion in front of the decimal, which is what I've got, and then I want it, sorry, I've got it behind the decimal, I also want it in front of the decimal, so that's going to be times by 1,000, and that will give me 750.50 recurring. So when I do 1,000D take away 10D, I'm going to be doing 750.50 recurring, take off 7.50 recurring. So I'm going to get 990D and 743. So D is 743 over 990. And then similarly with this one, if I call the decimal 0.281, we need to get the decimal in front of the recursion. So that's again going to be multiplying by 10. 2.81. We need to get it behind the recursion. So that's multiplying by 1,000. So 281.81 recurring. So 1,000, stop moving. 1,000D minus 10D is 990D, and 281.81 recurring minus 2.81 recurring is 279, so my answer is going to be 279 over 990. However, it does say simplest form, so they're both in the 9 times table, so 31 over 110. And last couple of questions. We've got, again, that's 9, add 1 is 10 thirds divided by 16, 17, 18, 19 over 4, and you KFC it. You keep the first one, flip the second one, and change the symbol to times. So we get 40 over 57. There we go. And then last question. What have we got? On a farm, 4.5 out of 15 acres are used to grow crops. 5/8 of the land is wheat, so it's 5/8 of that crops. I don't think I need that 15 there, because it's, oh, it's every, no, I do, of 4.5 over 15. Of is just another way of times. I don't really like the 4.5, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by that and then cancel down, so that's 9 over 30, which I can cancel further. I don't know why I didn't think they're in the 15 times table. 3 over 10, so that's 15 over 80, which can cancel to 3 over 16. Now, that's not a nice one to turn into a percentage, but as a decimal it's 0.1875, so the answer would be 18.75%. See you later.